Okay, thank you very much for attending this session. Here we have initiative for cooking, and I'm sure none of us will have survived if mommy or daddy or uncle or sister has not done some clean cooking. Dr. Michael Ahove, I'm an associate professor of climate change studies and environmental education from the Center for Environmental Studies and Sustainable Development of the Lagos State University. That is the prestigious university in Nigeria and the most sought after university of our beautiful nation, Nigeria. This university has produced one of the best environmentalists seated here. His name is Ibadan himself. He's the chief, and he's the real chief in the environment. And we have others also seated. You have a professor here also from the university, Lagos State University. And I have my beautiful sister here who has made wonderful contributions to women and environment. She's also seated here. She's the Honorable Commissioner for Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. She knows how to settle that one. So we are about to commence. The first speaker is Dr. Temilade Sesan from the University of Ibadan. She will be spending 8 minutes to make 7 minutes, to make our presentation. Shall we please welcome Dr. Temilade Sesan? Over to you, madam.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope you can hear me. There's a bit of a delay. I can see that my pitch is a few seconds delayed. I hope that's not going to be too much of a problem. Okay, so initiatives for clean cooking. I should say, as a researcher, clean cooking is my first love. Okay, I work in various areas of energy and environment, but clean cooking is my first love because that's the subject on which I did my PhD actually almost 12 years ago. So thank you for Ahmed. Did I get that right? Okay, for the invitation. I won't waste too much time. I stand on a business platform. Just to say again, I'm Temilade Sesan. I'm an adult mathematician. Today's topic is a crucial one. It's not relegated to the back burner, as you were, but it's really crucial if we're going to have a energy strategy. And it's interesting because I just mentioned now that I did my PhD on this area about 11 years ago. And we have come a long way since then in that subject. And one of the lingo there is around how to make tackle more energy and amount of food needed so that but in a short while from then, and I remember like organizations like the Global Alliance for Clean Food quickly became the Clean Food Alliance, the whole movement with that to just looking at home and feel but looking for this to be clean cooking. So what's the everything because clean cooking for us. And very quickly, as a result, the conversation shifted from solid biomass fuels to having inner fuels, ethical and medium healthy, and especially with the life potential initiatives that has really and the private sector that has also taken almost a lead role in many ways in which Kenya policy have lagged private sector. I see Oazo there. I'm not surprised. Small initiatives like small gas buses that we had to enable the lower income to meet wages of gas. So all those things really catalyze on-site and it was being very good. I should say there was a caveat there. As we all know, global oil and gas prices are everywhere. And anecdotally, I think that with the progress that we have made the past few years, we have progressed have a discussion around that. But so the main point I want to make before I stop yesterday, all of these new initiatives, all of these new initiatives, so well and good. But care must be taken to make sure that do not leave anyone behind, especially in the context of overriding goals. Because, I think that clean cooking solution from my research to come with caveats, of course, right? So the whole idea of improving solid biomass growth for people in rural areas to have clear access. But when we keep the pendulum to the same thing, how do we also make it accessible? Those and even the urban core. So, and I think, again, speaking from the research perspective, I think that one way to do that is to prioritize research. So I'm thinking of research evidence has a significant role to take in this. There are a few organizations that have started in this direction. I did research with and I just wanted to share a few findings, evidence, like an evidence approach to what really is what can be when, where, and why. And I'll just share my screen. So this is where I really want to just give you findings that I don't like. Say that in promoting clean cooking, what we have, the policy we have, ethically and national that one of our people does not connect with energy users at the very bottom. We have that whole going on at the high level, but energy for the bottom, and apart from the higher income and maybe higher middle income class. And the implications for this is that state actors really come in and mediate. Okay, and we need to look at the long term, it's a long thing. The investment benefits may not come all at once. So we do need to use for social enterprise model.
I hear you, Temilade. Go on.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So, explore social enterprise models that can enable more equitable outcomes, especially for households, for poorer households. And the last point there about putting local enterprise at the heart of implementation, I think is so key. Because when we think of investment in clean cooking, often what policy looks I, for example, as a matter of course, I work spread across communities and neighborhoods. To to deliver that service in safer ways and in ways that can connect with local LPG users more. So I will stop there. I think my 7 minutes are up, and hope to engage. Thank you.
You very much. Thank you. That was Dr. Sesan Temilade. We appreciate your presentation. Matilda Ozu. Oh, sorry. Owhotu. Matilda Owhotu. She was a professor. For each presenter. So a question will come for Dr. Temilade, and she has about 2 minutes to respond. Another question from my Honorable Commissioner, another question from Matilda. So that is how we are going to run the session for today. It's just 30 minutes, and we want to try as much as possible to give to time. Thank you very much. So I will hand over to the Honorable Commissioner to Matilda, based on the yeah.
Okay, so I can go ahead.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the second time today that I will be addressed as doctor. Maybe a doctorate degree is on its way. Not anyone that I know of anyway. The topic is initiatives of clean cooking. I must emphasize before I say anything that clean cooking saves lives. Nearly 1 out of 3 people rely on polluting cooking fuels like charcoal, wood, and kerosene for their cooking, and such is regarded as dirty cooking. This leads to carbon emission and kills about 4 million people around the world. It is indeed a global crisis. Like I said earlier on, I'm not an expert. I'm not an environmentalist. I'm just the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. My responsibility in Lagos State is to take care of the welfare of women and make sure that we get them out of poverty. When we say take them out of poverty, not just financial poverty, but even energy poverty. I've been part of climate change summit since inception, one way or the other. I just find myself being involved. So I'm not completely a novice. If you look around town, there is a Mama Shade, Mama Nkechi, or Mama Musa that cooks food, wakes up around 4 a.m. every morning to cook food that she's going to sell to her customers, probably on their way to work, or some send for their breakfast when at work. This Mama Shade uses charcoal or firewood to cook that food, and she inhales this carbon monoxide every day. Also, we have our women, our indigent and vulnerable women scattered all around Lagos and Nigeria, who use charcoal, coal pots, that's what they call it, and stoves for their cooking, and some still use firewood. If we consider the health such use of such fuels, and also the safety, even the household pollution for such people, is bad enough that they use I better pass my neighbor generator that emits so much carbon monoxide, coupled with cooking with firewood. What is the life expectancy of such people? And all of this boils down to poverty. When you talk of cooking, people ordinarily just think about women. And then when you talk of that kind of cooking, it goes down to the poor. And that is why my ministry is very much involved. Now, what have we done as a ministry? Our primary assignment, like I said earlier on, is to get people out of poverty. When people are not poor, they won't need to use firewood to cook. When they are not poor, they won't use a better pass my neighbor generator. So we have tried to come up with a lot of poverty alleviation programs, one of which is a 4-week short-term skills training, where we train people on skills that they wouldn't need a shop or so much capital to be able to start up their own businesses, like the popular makeup and gele. We tell them that when you finish with this 4 weeks training, you can decide on every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go to event centers. Just stand by the gates. You will see women that need to tie their gele. And when you begin to do that, you make 5,000 on Wednesday, 5,000 on Thursday, 5,000 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At the end of every week, you have about 30,000. You can imagine what such a person will make at the end of the month. Also, we teach them how to stone Ankara. All of we women in Lagos these days want blinking. We want to wear blings on our Ankaras. A lot of tailors do not have time to stone. All they do is sew and then send it to people who do the stoning and the beading. Another thing is soap making. We all must take a bath. We all need air freshener. We all need sanitizers. We all need Izals, Dettol's, toilet cleaners. Those are the things that we teach. We also teach duvet making and throw pillows. A lot of things that they do not need shops. They do not need serious machines to be able to start their businesses, and they can do such businesses within the confines of their homes. Then we have about 20 skills acquisition centers spread across the 5 regions of Lagos, where people go in to learn about 19 skills free of charge. Also, we have a micro enterprise scheme. That is a scheme where we identify artisans who have learned a particular skills but do not have money to start up their own businesses. And also some of the students from our centers who have graduated, who have done very well, but do not have the ability to set themselves up. So far in Lagos State, we have been able to empower over 60,000 women and youths since the inception of this government. And then, like I said earlier on, I've been part of this summit since inception from the local government when I was in the local government. And every year that I've been here, I've always said something, and I'm going to say it again this afternoon. We all come here, we all talk about all these summits, we all come in with all sorts of experts. But the common man out there, how do they get the message? Now we're here talking about clean cooking. All of us seated here, none of us, I can say that for sure, none of us cook with firewood. None of us cook with stove. Even the people online. So the people that need to know that cooking with firewood, cooking with stoves and all of those things are injurious to their heads do not even get to hear about this. And that's why for us as a ministry, we started a program called Women Assembly, where we invite different categories of women to like an assembly, and we talk about several issues, one of which is climate change. We talk about their health, we talk about family, we talk about parenting, and we talk about climate change. So those are some of the things that we have done as a ministry. And then, when I was talking earlier on, I talked about the health challenges that comes up with this dirty kind of cooking. Let me say dirty. We also do free medical checks for our women in Lagos State, just to be sure that we have women who are healthy. We realize that women and mothers in Lagos would rather take care of their families than they take care of themselves. The first women assembly we had, when we asked how many women had done their medical checks in the last 1 year, in a hall of about 5,700 women, only about 100 knew what pap smear was. And very few also knew what mammogram was. So we decided that, look, for us as a ministry, we shouldn't just empower, we should also try to care for the health of our women in Lagos State. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was the Honorable Commissioner on Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. I usually avoid summarizing because I believe you understood what she had said. So I don't need to tell you what she had said. So without wasting much time, I will be calling on the second speaker so we can have more time for questions. Call on the third speaker, Matilda UpEnergy. Am I right? Yeah. When we were going to say UpNepa, when there was power supply. Now it's UpEnergy. Thank you very much. Over to Matilda.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for observed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining this session. So my name is Matilda Owhotu, and I'm the market expansion lead for a company called UpEnergy Group. They have been in Uganda for the past 10 years, and what we do is to provide cleaner technology for low-income households. And so they just come into, so we're in 7 other African countries, Mozambique, Tanzania, Malawi, Zimbabwe. We just started in DRC, and so Nigeria, we've also just entered Nigeria and leading expansion on that. Now, we have 4 products, and this you will see how we tie in with today's session. We have 4 products that we currently have to mitigate against, to cut down CO2 emissions into the environment. Because we sit here and we talk and we talk and we talk, right? But there are the Mama Nkechis and the Mama Shades who are in the rural areas who don't have a solution. Now, what UpEnergy does is to provide certain solutions, and one of which I will talk about, in fact, the only one I can talk about now, is our smart home stoves. Sorry, I'm just going to turn my screen around so you can see. So this is a picture of our stove. It's called a smart home stove, and the reason why it's a smart stove is because it reduces carbon emission, right? Now, Mama Shade and Mama Nkechi in the rural areas, right? What do they have? They use charcoal, they use firewood to cook. Yes, they are dirty fuels. We understand that. But guess what? Those dirty fuels, they are being used with inefficient cook stoves. They are using 3-stone fires. And those 3-stone fires and inefficient cook stoves are creating health challenges for these women, right? Household air pollution is like 2nd or 3rd largest killer of women in Nigeria. And so what UpEnergy does is to find cleaner technologies that can help cut down the rates of carbon emission going into the atmosphere and cut down and improve the lives of the women and the users of our stoves. Now, these are the stoves, and they are locally manufactured in Nigeria. We also have manufacturers that we use in the north-central region of Nigeria. As a company, we do not want to encourage, because it is a huge problem. Climate change is a huge problem. We do not want to make things worse. We're not trying to sell our stoves to people who are using LPG, right? People in Lagos State who are in bougie areas. We're not, because we're only creating a problem. We're only adding to the demographics of people who are using charcoal, which is considered as bad fuel. Now, what we do is we identify those in the rural areas who are using charcoal, and we go directly to these people and we sell them a solution, right? It is not a permanent solution. It is a temporary one until all these conversations that we're having in the cities, we're able to come to a conclusion, because we're sitting here in the air conditioners and we're doing well and we're talking, but those people don't have that many options. And so what we do is to provide a solution that, while we have the Honorable Commissioner who has fantastic initiatives on free medical checks, we're trying to say, you know what, let us give them something that will reduce mortality rates, so that we're not having a high rate of women who have respiratory issues and sicknesses. have started this initiative in the North Central region because, like I've explained, we're not trying to do anything what we call fuel switching, right? We're going to those who already use charcoal and we're saying, look, charcoal is bad. However, this device is a safer alternative until those of us who are in the cities can decide on the initiatives that can permanently eradicate air pollution. And so, again, these are locally manufactured stoves. This is a clay liner. They're very simple. Insulation is made up of raw materials that are locally sourced. Our manufacturers employ 65-70% of women. It's only the metal work that some of the men are responsible for doing. And with pilots that we have done, starting off in certain areas in Nasarawa, in Abuja, and in Niger State, the feedback has been phenomenal. Like, it improves lives, it saves money because, for example, if they use 200 naira, and these people are poor, let's not forget, right? And so they would use 200 or 300 naira to cook for the day, for their families for the day. With this stove, because it's an improved stove, they would only need 100 naira. And so look at how much money they're saving at the end of the year. So coming from this global, issue, as a company, we are coming with temporary solutions to mitigate against health challenges, fighting poverty, and obviously, you might not want to look at it that way, but in a way, we're helping so that we're not felling or they're not using as many trees. If I can use that as a justification, because this is an efficient cook stove. So I'm not sure. And then let me just speak about other products that are available. We have a water filtration system yet to be introduced. We have the industrial cook stove. We have the electric pressure cooker. So these are some of the initiatives, right, that as a company we have introduced, and we are constantly developing. The cook stoves, again, we use charcoal, but we're also developing the use of briquettes and coconut shells so that we can eradicate totally the usage of charcoal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was the last presentation by Matilda for UpEnergy. So the three presenters have spoken. We are going to entertain questions for each of the speakers. The first is Dr. Temilade Sesan. If you have a question for Dr. Temilade Sesan, just indicate raise your hand. Okay, indicate Mr. Igbabu there. Hand up, please. The second question will be for the Honorable Commissioner. If you have any question for her, okay, Professor Shewa Kintola. The third question will be for UpEnergy, Matilda. You have any question for her? Raise your hand, please. For her, strictly for her. Oh, no question. Okay, you have question for her. I want to say you have 5 over 5. They don't have, I will ask you anyway because they have questions. Yeah. So let's go for the first set. If we have time, then we can run on for the second. Thank you very much. One question. Thank you. You can stand and face the camera. Yes. Dr. Temilade, can you hear clearly?
No, I can't hear him.
The mic is not sharp enough. It is. So pay attention.
I don't think the mic is connected because I can't hear a person.
Can you hear me, Temilade?
I can hear you loud and clear, but I can't hear him.
Okay. Can you hear me now? All right, thank you. So
Yes,
this is
better.
from your research, and I'm familiar with some of your work. I just want to know, we have women still today, despite all the efforts, who, for instance, smoke fish, smoke agri-products. And each time you try to introduce efficient cooking technologies to them, they go back, to the old. So, what's from your research? Why do you think this happens? And what impact is society having
Okay.
So you got that, Temilade. Just give us a
Yes,
minute.
I did.
We'll call you to respond.
Thank you. It's $1 million question, and
You
it
have 2
ties.
minutes. You have 2 minutes to answer that question, please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. The $1 million question, and it ties with the UpEnergy presentation just now. So, in clean cooking, there's a range of solutions. And, the efficient systems are like seen as like an incremental tool, just a step up above the traditional cooking, and then down the spectrum to have the really clean cooking LPG and so the case for the improved systems is that at least people are more familiar with at least the field, and then they can, if they have less inertia to move from, place on fire, do that, or, then take the next step. However, in reality, as you have observed, even that is, can be a bit of a challenge. Getting people to abandon or to get their old ways to, even the intermediate solutions that we have. So it's a range of reasons. I don't know that there is any magic bullet to that. Part of it is financial. Some actors try to target by maybe having payment plans, or because there is no way that even an improved system will not require more capital outlay than the traditional system. So there is that. Part of the answer is also in the supply chain, right? So there is a whole supply chain. Anyone who lives in Lagos, area, wherever, know that there is a market, there's a pipeline fuel market, there's a capital market. And so as long as there is that supply, the supply dynamics will come through. And there's always demand for that. Even the schools themselves, the whole system that has been built around that reactors. So one of it I'll just sort of prove by saying in academic research, I have not done much research on that area, but in academic research, some scholars have started looking at behavior communication, behavior change communication models. Sort of say go beyond just talking to people, because it's one thing for people to know that something is bad for them. It's another thing for them to take the next step to the right thing. So it will take consistent engagement through programs, behavior change communication methods. Some of that has been successful in the context of water sanitation, okay, where people have been able to move from open communication to using improved batteries and all of that. So it will require more than we are currently
doing. Dr. Temilade, you have short your time. 2 minutes.
Sorry.
It's 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we got the point. I think it's also when people are used to bad habits. We were in a ceremony, and we have finished the rice, party rice. And the lady said to me, Mike, me enjoy your I didn't enjoy the food. And I said, why? He said the taste of the wood was not smelling the rice. So she's using the taste of carbon in the rice. And as long as the taste of the carbon in the rice is not sweet. So that is the issue of demand on the mama put. So mama put is under obligation to win her customer. And if Dr. Bolaji gets there to say, use briquette please, mama put will say, no, lie, oja unita. That means the market will not move. I must use wood because somebody likes the taste of carbon. Do you understand? So that is one study. And if you are in sociology, you can conduct more research and share with us next year. Thank you very much. Yes, our question, madam. No, it's Prof, sir.
Subject of my question. Well, let me just ask. In the classroom. Well, let me just introduce myself. I'm Matilda Owhotu, the professor of fisheries, presently the dean of faculty of science at Lagos State University. Of course, you expect that when my brother started the question, he has mentioned the fishers. And I can studies, 80% of the fish we produce in Nigeria or in Africa is smoked. So it is a serious sector that we need to focus on. And who does this smoking? The women. And this is why your ministry is very important. Okay, so a lot of work will have to be done. There's a lot of work on switching that technology and balancing, like the moderator has said. Culture has a very strong, for all you said, you are still in Obama first before you become whatever you are. So that cultural element. So my question to the Honorable Commissioner is, what are you doing to ensure these very important stakeholders, very important, to our lives, to our health, and they are usually poor. So you need to come, what are you doing to intervene in this sector? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that question. Because I actually forgot to mention that for women in the riverine areas who are specialized in smoking fish and all of that, we provide smoking kings for them, but we give them in clusters. The ministry might not be, the ministry is not buoyant enough to give individual kings to women, but we visit communities, give them in clusters, so that within themselves, within their clusters, they can make use of those smoking kings. Another thing we have done as a ministry is to visit all those mama puts, all those mama Shade, mama Nkechi, and give them industrial gases, industrial cookers with LPG gases, just to move them from the dirty cooking to the clean cooking. Also, during our trainings, both our short and long-term trainings, our catering students and our tie and dye students, during their graduations, we give them LPG gases, LPG cookers, LPG gas cookers, for them to make their dire, instead of the local way of using firewood and things like that. So that's what we've been doing. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you very much. Go ahead. You want to ask a question? Yes. Let me also say this. I'm an opportunist, or call me an opportunist if you want. Yesterday, during the opening ceremony, I sat close to the executive vice president of Oando, and as soon as they introduced him to me as executive vice president of Oando Energy, I told my colleague, I said, tell him we're going to partnership with him to provide us LPG gases for us to distribute to our women in Lagos. And he graciously agreed to partner with the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. And immediately after the program yesterday, I sent him a note to remind him and request for a meeting. So I know that in a short while, we'll begin to distribute LPG cooking gases to women in Lagos State, especially in the rural areas of Lagos.
Yeah, beautiful one, beautiful one. That's a beautiful one. You know, one of the experiences the question of Professor Shewa Akintola is extremely important. I had experienced and found some women using plastics to smoke. Am I right, bro? Plastics, tires, all manner of things. And look, ladies and gentlemen, they sell to organizations like where we are in Lagos. They sell to all manner of 4-star, 5-star organizations. The difference is packaging. When I finish packaging my fish and I give you for packaging. But the question you should have asked, how did I process it? Somebody was mentioning yesterday, he said when I go to eat, don't say, what do you have? I say, I find out what is the nutritional value of what you want to give. You understand? So if you are used to clean water, if you drink water that is not clean, even if it's a clean glass, you will drop the glass. Say, I'm okay, madam, I'm full. I've eaten. You may not want to embarrass the person. So that is the challenge. And it's extremely important that our women are exposed to proper way of treating our fish. I eat fish a lot. Started from my mother's home. Madam, it's your turn. Okay. Food technology. Few seconds. You understand why they fascinated? And that's what she's trying to solve. Final question. She has a question. Somebody want to ask a question. Who was the person? Oh, she's the one. Okay. Thank you very much. Are you the one? Please, we have a few seconds because my boss says I should wrap up. Sharp to the question, please. Thank you very much. That's the last question. Over to you.
Thank you for that. And I can share a document with you at the end of this to speak to to speak to the SDG and how UpEnergy has met all the different goals. So speaking on affordability, our stoves are priced at 6,000 naira, and there was a lot of deliberation that went into it. Manufacturing costs. We all know that costs of production in Nigeria is quite high. And so we have cost of production, labor. We also have inflation. We have to, consider that, and then we pegged it at 6,000, right? Now, some of the ways that we ensure that it is affordable for these people, because they are actually for, low-income households, is that we're approaching, like their, local government, chairpersons and, village, savings and loans associations, and saying to them, we can give these stoves to the women for free for a period of maybe a month or two, and then they can do installmental payments. So those are the ways that we're trying to ensure that they get the stoves, because at the end of the day, we're trying to improve their lives, and we're trying to, and sorry, I keep jumping on this, Mama Shade and Mama Nkechi, and then this is one of our users, Mabel, and she's one of the people who will tell you how much her life has been improved by the smart home stove, not just because I represent UpEnergy, but because it actually works, right? If you were using 400 naira charcoal in the course of a day, with the efficient cook stove, you will use 100 or 200 naira, right? You are not inhaling black smoke that the inefficient cook stoves are producing. So it's safer for the environment, it's safer for the individual, it is a cheaper alternative, and we make it affordable. We give them ways to be able to afford. And sorry, I just want to add one thing. We also have a 1-year warranty, right? So come at day 362, right? If you feel like your stove is not as efficient as it was when you got it, we replace it for free.
Thank you very much. You have to pay us for the advert. Thank you very much. So before you leave, madam, hold on, please. Before you leave, let's give a round of applause for our speakers, Dr. Sesan, my Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Bolaji, and the UpEnergy, Matilda. Thank you very much. Please, let's move to the next room, next session, please. Thank you very much. Please go home and educate people and encourage them not to use tires to cook our fish. Okay? Please spread the news. Thank you very much.